Good morning, everybody. My name is Al Emery, Managing Director at Momentum Software Solutions. Most of you know me, but for those who don't, hello and welcome to our Mastering Manufacturing in MYOB Acumatica deep dive, particularly focused on our customers or prospective customers who are looking at things from a manufacturing and also inventory management perspective. So our agenda today, if we can just have the next slide, please, Mitch. Before I go through the agenda, actually, just a quick bit of meeting etiquette, sorry. So for those of you who are not aware, most of you I'm sure already are, if you could just please keep your microphone on mute, just helps prevent any background noise on our presentation as well as subsequent recording. But having said that, please feel free to ask questions whenever you like, and you can use the chat box or put your hand up and then unmute yourself and fire away with your questions. So our agenda today, and I guess firstly, our intention with these sessions is very much informative, educational. We want our customers to get the most value they can from their investment in MYOB Acumatica. And particularly today, customers of ours who are already using the manufacturing module, they're all using the standard features, so bill of material, the recipe of things you make, and a production order, the transaction that follows, that you have made it. But there are a lot of additional and enhanced features available that you may not be aware of or haven't implemented, and so we're showing you those today. So I'm doing a quick welcome. Then we have Pankaj, our pre-sales consultant, who's going to take you through a demonstration of those features, advanced features that you can use now, and that will take, I think, about the first 30 minutes. And then we have a couple of our important partners who work with us with integrated solutions. We have Machship showing their freight solution, and we have Central Innovation showing their SolidWorks and CPQ solutions that work with MYOB Acumatica, and plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So a very quick update from myself, just a little bit about us if you didn't already know. So Momentum over the last few years has evolved into very much a national organisation. We have customers all around Australia. We have consultants in all of the locations you see on the map there. So we're very much able to service national companies and businesses that operate in any state of Australia. Much of what we do is online anyway, but boots on the ground is very important. So you can see where we have a presence. Also recently, and this is, I guess, a testament to some of our subject matter expertise in manufacturing, we were awarded MYOB's Enterprise Manufacturing Partner of the Year last year, which is a fantastic award, and it's based on real implementations that we have done of the MYOB Acumatica manufacturing suite. And we were also the Excellence in Customer Service Partner of the Year last year as well. So that should give you some confidence that we know what we're talking about when it comes to manufacturing. So without me taking up too much more of the agenda, I'm introducing you to Pankaj. Pankaj is our pre-sales consultant and has a particular subject matter knowledge in manufacturing, and he's going to take you through a number of features. Over to you, Pankaj. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Al, and very good morning to all of you who joined this webinar. I am going to share my screen now. In today's this quick 30 minutes of education session, I'll be covering 4 topics. The one, we start with the manufacturing estimating. Right, so if you're a job shops or made-to-order manufacturers may use estimating feature in MYOB Acumatica. For an example, you received a query from a customer, could you do a custom production for us for a product, and then you would like to add a quick estimate and then send it to them. So this is the feature of MYOB Acumatica which you can use. So it helps you to create estimates for new items which is not currently in your inventory, convert new items estimates to inventory, finished goods, and manufacturing bills of materials and routing. You can use this straight away from your opportunities and sales quotes, and then lead it to your production orders, and then you can control and costs and markups of material, labor, tools, and overheads when you are doing the estimating. Let's quickly jump into the system, assuming that I have to create a new estimate for a customer who just raised a request to us. So I'll go to opportunities, and then I would select an opportunity. I added all the communications that I'm having with the customer about that. So I selected the business account. They wanted a custom solar panel requirement with extended range. I would go to the estimate tab, and I will click on add to add an estimate. System will create an estimate ID for you automatically here. If I want to have a quick look on the estimate, that what we thought about the labor, machine, material, tool, overhead cost would be, if there is any subcontract outside work involved, we can use that as well. So it gives me a quick estimate on what would be the total cost for us of doing this custom solar panel thing for the customer, and then based on the markup percentages, what would be the unit price, so I can easily send an estimate to the customer. If I want to quickly create and add the things, I click on the estimate number.
Yeah, how much of all those exams were good?
So this is where I making an estimate where I add the operations that we will be doing the custom of the solar panel through design and assembly, and then we will be doing cutting and welding and final check and dispatch. What would be the running time, setup time, machine time, labor time, everything is done here. In the references, it would show me the opportunity ID from where I have generated the estimate. I can add the image here of the product of the custom solar panel that I want to do. I can add the descriptions and everything in here about that, whatever the discussion with the customer happened. And in the total section, I can mark up my percentages of, revenue on each, how much percentage of markup we do on labor, machine, material, tools, and so on. So once I have this estimates up and running here, we will create this into a quote. I click on create quote and then select the sales quote. System will copy my estimates to the quote level now. You can see under the quote here, it is still the same. Again, at the time of sending this quote, if there are changes to be done, I can still click on the estimate or even click on the quick estimate to do a little bit change here. Let's say we think the machine cost should be higher a bit or less a bit, so I can here manually put the value here. And then I would send this quote to the customer. Assuming customer is happy with our estimates and they say, please go ahead, I will mark as accepted and then convert it to the order so that it is a confirmation order in our system. I'll click create and review. It says I cannot do it because I need to create it as a stock item first. So I will go back to the estimate. To raise a sales order, I must create my non-inventory or custom stock item that I used at the time of estimate. Need to create it as an inventory item. So I click it, create inventory items. I'll select this one, click process. So I saved some time by not going into the stock screen and added all the information manually. System has created that for me. Now I can proceed further to convert this to an order. The estimate line and everything, the price and everything coming from the estimate with the markups and everything. I would save this. mark for production that we want to do production, give it a sub account, save it. And then my next step is to create production order from here. The system will copy all the materials, all the labor, all the overhead, all the expenses to that production order from here. And then I continue with my production process from there. So this is something that I can use if we doesn't have anything in stock and the customer wants us an estimate and we really want to give an estimate before we start the production and get it approved from the customer. I can use this functionality. Let's move to the next one.
And just to also summarize that again very briefly, so that the use case scenario is for a custom product that you are making specifically for a customer's request. So therefore, no bill of material exists. Even the product itself may not exist in your system, and this streamlines that workflow through the CRM module. It's not the only way of quoting it. There is a couple of alternate ways of doing it. But it streamlines the process to basically, quote with the right price and margin
have you seen
and create a bill of material on the fly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pankaj.
Yep. All right. The next thing is, which is again, when we are doing custom manufacturing, we can use the product configurator. So basically, if your business manufactures configurable products that requires personalized features and options, which means when you are building a product and you want to add materials and labor based on the selection of some of the features in your product, you can use the product configurator. It is really useful. So I will use it if I want to rule-based bill of materials configuration tool, where I can tell system if something happens, include something or exclude something in my bill of materials, manage complex and flexible attributes and options for product manufacturing, product configuration, allow product to be configured on the fly in the sales order flow. Again, it can start from the CRM module. So assuming I am the sales guy and I'm doing an opportunity at the moment in the system, customer give me a phone call and say that I need a customized, curtain panels. So I would create this in a way like this. So this is my opportunity where I have configured to order curtain 24 by 48 for the customer here, and Paul is the one who raised that. I will go into the details tab and I select our product curtain 24 by 48, but I want to add more features and options here to just make it a little custom for this customer. This is my base product already available in the system. I have a configure button here. So when I click this configure button, system will launch a configuration entry wizard here. I will just maximize it a bit. So what we see here are the features on the left, which means what are the features involved in our product to be finished. And then here are some of the attributes where we are telling system, give me a selection area so that I can select what would be the width and height of this curtain, whether I want it a manual or a motorized way. I will unfinish it, for example. And then I want to choose a manual or a motorized operation. What would be the height and width? So I can manually enter here. What would be the door number? I'll just make it NA for now. And what would be the color that I want to have of this curtain? So based on my deselection, system would suggest me the options, the materials required, and then the quantity of that material. It's all my sheets and my different type of materials that require. I can predefine some of the material that is must included as soon as we start configuring the curtain. So these are all the options here that you can choose from. And then as soon as I do the selection, system will roll up the price for me to provide it to the customer for what would be the price for that curtain 24 by 48. Just to show you a bit rule-based option here. If I change the width, for an example, 48 by 56, system would suggest me based on the formula that I added at the configuration of this, that changes that I need this profile slat 0.75 millimeter thick sheet. We need this much meter quantity. So I can pick this one. If we don't have this much thick one, I can use the other one. So I can exclude this one and include this one, right? Plus, I have 2 rivets ID here, but I want system to suggest me which one suits the door number right hand. So when I select that, system will remove 1 rivet and only shows me that 6x4 is required for the right hand selection. Or for the left hand, we need 8x6. And then I can tick this one and add the quantity of each required for that one. So based on all these, so this is the simple rules. You can set your own rules in the system where they're, based on the calculation of your product configuration dimensions. You can change the options and make them available for the salesperson to use so that he can pick the right selection. And in the power record feature, I need to take one of the options that fits the best for the customer requirement for this curtain 24x48. Once I'm finished with the configuration, I'll click on finish. And then system will add that price here and I put the quantity here. So when I do this, I am also creating an on-the-fly bill of materials for the production, because then the production knows that for the features, for the power recording on this operation, what are the materials required, what is the labor, and everything is involved. So once I'm happy with this one, I will create again the same follow process of create quote. Customer accepts that, for an example. He's happy with this, and I will say convert to order. Copy the configurations, notes, files, attachments, whatever you have at the time of opportunities and quotes will be copied over. And then from here, it is already marked for production as a checkbox. I can remove credit hold. This customer is on credit hold at the moment. And then I would continue to create production order. So when I click on create production order, system created a production order here, which is number 306. I would go to my production orders list. This is the one that I just created through that sales order. And just to show you that this is what system has created for our production team at the shop floor or the warehouse, that we will be going through the assembly and cut, and these are all the selection from the configuration entry that we required. Power coding is the only one thing that I required here. So this is really handy when you're doing a product customization based on the customer requirement of what they want to add to that product, and then how much material, how much labor that you need for that area. Okay, let's go to the next. Which is our engineering change control. So basically, if we want to update our bill of materials, we would create engineering change requests and orders in the system so that we can compare at the end of the day what was the previous bill of materials and what is the change that we want to make and what is the adds and minus in the items and labors or in the operations that we want to capture. So me as an engineering guy, I would like to have, do some engineering change requests. So what I'll do is I will go to my bills of materials and raise a engineering change request to my manager. Click on plus, and I want to do a change in one of the defined bill of material. For an example, I'll take this one where we are already having few operations or routings, and then I want to do some changes in here. So I think that in the disassembly area, I need to do some changes. So what I'll do is I will save this first. And we do not need 3 days for that. I think 2 days are enough for that area. So I did a change here. And then in the second operation, we want this item, we need more quantity. So I'll just make it 6. So as soon as I start doing the changes, system turns it into a bold letter. So that is basically for my manager or for anyone who approves this change request to know what are the changes I have done. And system updates the change status as well. So I updated this line, right? For this, we need 10 quantities. We need one more material in here. So I will add one material. So we need more material on this one. And I would click on save. And I would submit this now because these are the changes that I wanted. Now it will be going through an approval process. Sorry. So Mr. James is the one who would approve it. So I will log in as James in a separate window. I refresh it so that I know what Mr. James looks at the approval screen. So this is the ECR request that has been raised by one of our employees. So I will double click that. So you would see, I can see this, that there is a change in the assembly area of the time. And these are all the items 6, 10, and 1 as these bold letters. Now, if I want to compare it, what are the values that are changed? I would go to compare BOM. This is where system shows me what are the values in my previous, on the right hand side, in my bill of material 41, and this is the change request that the employee has raised. So the yellow icon means that there is a change or an update. Green means there was no change. It is available in the same quantity and thing in both. And the red means that we have added something to the bill of material, right? So let's take an example of this one. So I would click here and you would see in my previous bill of material, the quantity was 4, but in my change request number 7, the quantity has moved to 6. So it means I raised 2 more quantities in the bill of material. Similarly, I go to the next one and I change it so I can see that in the prior bill of material, the quantity was 8, but then I have more in this bill of material request. So if I'm happy with that, I would approve the request. And then I can create engineering change order right away. So this is the step that is required. I think it opens into a new tab. So this is the step that is required for the system to commit the changes to the bill of material, and then it gives me a request and effective date. So I can say the effective date is 29th, which means whenever we want to do a production order on this item and using this bill of material now, which is a new revision number after the approval of the engineering change order, it will get effective date on 29th of this month, which means the changes that we have done will be applied from the 29th of this month to this bill of materials. And I will submit this one and then commit changes to BOM. Right, so when I do this now, I can go back to my bill of materials page. Look at my bill of materials. Now you see there is another revision C that a system has just created. So I have now bill of materials 41, which has effective date that I mentioned 29th of August. And then the new things will get implemented at the production order. So that's how we do engineering change requests and orders whenever there is an update in the bill of materials required, and it has to go through an approval process so that the right engineering done for my bill of materials. Now, I think the last topic for this session that I prepared is quality checks and controls. Basically, if you do production or manufacturing, you would pass through some quality checks at each stage of your production, whether it's from the start or from the end, you would use MYOB Acumatica. There's a eWorkplace app solutions inbuilt in MYOB Acumatica that helps us to do the quality testing. You can perform your end-to-end QC testing on receiving the raw materials, production orders, shipping, kitting, and more, which means if you place an order to a supplier, when you receive the goods from the supplier, you can still do quality check, whether the received items are good or bad on the, your selection, or do you do quality check on yes and no, or a numeric value or alpha numeric value, kind of execute the inspection plans and checklist upon your production process, generate certificate of analysis. If you do some quality check and requires a certificate of analysis to be attached with the production, you can do that as well, and track non-conformances, maintain a complete audit trail, and manage corrective preventive action processes. So a lot of things you can do with the quality checks and controls QMS feature in MYOB Acumatica. So I will take you guys to actually the QC dashboard. This is something that your quality guys, would see when they log in. So they would see on the left-hand side that these are all the quality checks that they need to perform for multiple inventories that are received from supplier or multiple production order that you do. And each production order, which each operation, what are the quality checks that you need to do? So I'll take an example here. I'll go to the production order. I will pick this production order number 49 for an example. So this production order is in process. I can see that this production order goes through different operations. So it goes through cutting, joining, buffing, and then packing. At the joining operation, we have added a quality check required checkbox, and then we have, assigned a quality check plan for that one, that what type of quality testing we will be doing. And then I go to the right-hand side and I click on these orders. It would show me this is the quality control number system generated when we raised this production order. So this is what your quality guy would see. He would see that this is the quality check that I'll be doing for this production order number. This is for my QC after joining. I need to do the 100% inspection of what it is done. I have predefined expected values. So when I check my in-house join width, I would just provide the value here. So if I provide value 12, which is under the expected value, system will, call it a pass test. But if I go with 14, system will call it a failed test. And as soon as I save, system changes the color as well based on my selection or based on my checking of the item. But let's say this time it is passed. I would evaluate the result and then I post the results. So this is my job as a quality guy, to just post the results. And when I do that, I refresh it. You see, it changes the QC completed quantity to 1, which means my production manager can always check how my QC is going, and then have I finished my QC or no. This is the second step or second quality check that we need to do at the time of buffing. So the same process, I click on these orders, open the quality check test, and start doing the quality test checking. I can use my dashboards to go there as well. I can click on this QC order ID to open the quality check screen right away. And then I can start entering the values. So first end thickness of that sample, I will provide the value that is 15.5. That's all good. Second end thickness, 15, between 10 to 13. So it's 12, it's 13. And then if it is buffed, yes, this is buffed. All good. I can put my remarks here on checking. If I notice something I want to, put as a remark, I can put their remark, evaluate results, and then the post results. I will do the post results after a bit of the time. Just wanted to show you something here, which is if I try to do the move transaction before doing or before completing my quality check, this is where system would stop me. So if I want to do a create move transactions and I want to do quickly straight away go into and when I try to release these move transactions, system would throw an error and say that there are QC operations to be done. So that's where system holds and controls that without the quality check is done and the results are posted, I cannot do my move transactions. I will go back here to my order and then post results. And then I can generate certificate of analysis of the test that I have done. Right, these can be customized or modified if you want to add more things to these forms or certificates. And then, so this is one of the sample process that I made for today's session, that if we are doing quality checks and testing at different stages of our production, we can enable them. We can add different type of test. We can add different type of expected results from that test. And then we can allow our people to do the quality testing and checking and then post the results so that we know how we are doing with our quality checks and testing. Now, there's another one at the time of when you receive the receive the goods from the supplier. So that's an easy one as well. So you would raise a purchase order. I will take an example of this one. Copy this. Say we are going to receive 2 quantity of this item from the customer. Sorry, from the supplier. I would do enter PO receipt. So as soon as I post or release the purchase receipt, system generated a QC order number for me as well, which will be appearing on my dashboard for the QC guy. He would open this. And then here he would apply the settings. He would provide the values that invoice receipt test. The sample that we receive from the supplier, yes, that is within range. Physically good, yes. Outside range, failed, physically good, no, save, evaluate the results and post the results. So this will be posted, and then you can then, communicate with your supplier that the one item that out of 2 that you sent, these are the testing that we have done, and then we found that there is a fail or, the item is not correct. So please send us back, send us another item of the same thing. And then you can do the same quality check on that one item. So I would post this result there. So this is the process of adding the quality checks and controls to your production orders as well as to your inward receipts. You can do this at the time of shipping as well if you have a process in the company where you want to do some quality check before the things get dispatched or loaded to the truck. You can use this functionality of MYOB Acumatica QMS module that you have. I am happy for any questions. If you have, please raise or send an email to us, and I'm happy to catch up with you and show in more detail about your processes. That's all, Al, from my side.
Thanks, Pankaj. So hopefully you all, learned quite a bit from those processes that Pankaj took you through. And, just to recap, the use case scenarios for each of those. So estimating is for when you are doing a custom product, no standard bill of material. It allows you to take that through a quote process, create the product, create the bill of material on the fly so that you can make it. Product configurator, commonly used for products where you might have a base product or template bill of material, but then you have optional extras that you include or exclude, or even slightly different dimensions, and takes you through the same process. Engineering change control, a much more controlled and managed process for dealing with bill of material changes. There are standard features just to make changes and make revisions, but they're not as, there's no approval process around those, and it's not as easy to manage the timing of those changes, which can make a big impact on your production process. And then lastly, the quality management, which technically is an add-on module, but it's embedded within the core ERP. So other than the fact that we're telling you it's an add-on, you wouldn't really know because it basically inherits all the look and feel and features of MYOB Acumatica. So next up, we have a presentation from Machship, and Machship will show you just how well their freight solution is embedded and integrates with MYOB Acumatica. I won't steal any more of your thunder, guys, so over to you.
G'day, guys. My name's James Jackson. I'm the head of integrations at Machship. You guys can hear me okay? All right, so first things first, I just want to cover off a few different things, namely, what is Machship? So Machship is a freight management platform, primarily servicing Australia and New Zealand domestic freight. And what Machship is at a high level is it's a direct connection with over 230 integrated carriers. Okay, so a single point of integration to be able to access the 230 carriers that we are integrated with across Australia and New Zealand. Now, what can Machship do? Well, primarily is pricing and quoting. So you can generate a price and a quote with any carrier inside a single platform. And this will include surcharges, fuel, and any other pricing add-ons that the carriers may charge you. The next thing is manifesting and consignment data transfer. So a single place where you can create a consignment, manifest it, and it will transmit it to the relevant carrier in that specific case. Tracking and PODs. So again, you can unify all of your tracking into a single UI, single portal, and get access to any PODs that those carriers may upload for you. Label generation and printing. So we generate all of the labels inside the Machship platform and are able to send them directly to a printer. Finally, invoice reconciliation and carrier credit requests. You can upload all of your carrier invoices to Machship and find out where there's discrepancies, why those discrepancies exist, and then automatically raise carrier credit requests for times when you've been overcharged for your freight. And then lastly is reporting. So you can easily build dashboards of late consignments, a DIFOT to figure out which carriers are delivering consignments late, which are delivering them on time, and then use that as part of your negotiation with the carriers in order to improve your service levels. Now, what problems does Machship solve? So firstly, it's a single point of data entry. So you no longer have to log into several different carriers' portals in order to create consignments, price consignments, and dispatch. The reality is in a lot of warehouses, they're relying on one or two people who know who the best carrier is to send a given type of freight with. And this removes that risk. Okay, so you now have a single portal where you can log in, input the information, and we are connecting you to all of those carriers that you use now. And in alignment with that is cost comparison. So you get a single view showing all of your pricing options across all of your carriers. Just on this second point with cost comparison, the carriers can be quite opaque with their pricing, and a lot of their individual portals do not show things like fuel surcharges or overlength surcharges or tailgates when they're required. The pricing that you see inside Machship is always all-inclusive, right? So it makes it really easy to compare prices in a really accurate way. The next thing is easier tracking. So you can give your customer service teams access to only view consignments and allow them to track consignments across all of your businesses, all of your warehouses, and all of your carriers in a single pane. So what this means is your your customer service team are no longer logging in to several different portals to try and figure out where a consignment is. Okay. And finally, and what we're going to talk about today is a single point of integration. Okay, you no longer have to build any more integrations with carriers. You don't have to build label specs. You don't have to do any of that type of heavy lifting. You only have to integrate with Machship once. And as soon as you've done that, you've integrated with all of the carriers that we integrate with. Who uses Machship? Really, it's a variety of businesses. I've done a snapshot here of some of the biggest ones, as you always do in presentations like this. But we work with a really big variety of businesses, clients who have a single warehouse, have more of a manufacturing type slant, as we've been discussing so far today, and everyone from single warehouse to multi-warehouse setups. Okay, so it tends to be people that ship a variety of different freight, from bulky items to smaller items, as is sort of demonstrated here by these customers. It's a real mix. Now, onto the integration itself. What can it do? Firstly is shipment syncing. So it's the automated pulling of shipments and passing them into Machship so they can be dispatched. And then the update of shipments with tracking information. So we'll go through that in a couple of minutes. And the next feature is live quoting. So this is the automated writing of freight costs onto a sales order or quote based on the items on that sales order and quote. This second feature is relatively new. We've had it out for about 12 months, and it isn't used that often, but for businesses that sell really bulky items, where they do try and on-charge the freight to customers, it can be a very handy feature. So something we'll talk about today. But rather than talking in abstraction, let's actually look at what this actually looks like. Alrighty. So just give me a moment. Okay. So inside MYOB Acumatica here, this is our demo environment. You'll see on the sales orders screen, I've gone to the process orders tab. So on this process orders tab, you'll see here I've got a demo order. So this is the tab, for those that don't know, where you would create shipments from your sales orders. All right, so it can be done on an individual basis, but you can also do it in bulk. So you would select all and then hit process. And essentially what you're doing there is you're creating an open shipment from your sales order. Okay. Here is the shipment screen. So you'll see here we've got a number of shipments in a variety of different statuses. Now, the typical workflow that's being implemented here is a sales orders all exist, right? The shipments are created. That is triggering oftentimes the printing of a pick slip or something like that. They walk around and pick and pack that order, and then they're going into Machship. So you'll see here, I've pre-created two shipments, this shipment number 17 and shipment number 18, okay? Now, if I open up shipment number 17, now this is a sandbox environment, guys, so it's probably a little bit slower than what you're used to. But you'll see here, this shipment 17, it's going to a customer called Jim's Tesco from the Melbourne warehouse, and it's got a product called CAP on it. It's got a shipping address. This one does have a pre-allocated carrier, and it's got residential delivery pre-checked on this item. So what I'm going to do now is jump across into Machship. So this is the Machship platform, and in Machship you can go to create and manage and go to pending consignments. Okay, so a pending consignment is what we call a draft consignment. So all of the consignments will sit here. They're in a partially completed stage. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this shipment 17. Now, what your warehouse would typically do is they would walk around and have pick and packed this order, and they would scan or input the order number, and boom, you can see it's going to bring up the consignment. I would now click it, and here you go. Now, in this specific instance, because I selected TGE IPEC as the pre-selected carrier, it has automatically pre-selected TGE IPEC as the carrier for this consignment. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove this test item that I've added, and I'm just going to add in a carton. in Machship, you can save your, if you have frequently used cartons, so you have a standard 10 kilo, 5 kilo, 2 kilo carton, 1 kilo satchel, 3 kilo satchel, you can save those in here and then adjust the weight, right? And you'll see straight away over here, it's starting to generate all of the different prices, okay? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to clear this as the carrier option, and I just want you to watch what happens. Now I'm going to add in another carrier. You see it starts to requote. And over here, if I pre-tick residential delivery, it's now factoring in residential delivery surcharges into all of my pricing, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select couriers, please. I've added 2 cartons, and I'm going to say there's no dangerous goods, and I'm going to create. At this stage, the labels would print out straight away to the user's printer. You can control printing by warehouse and by user. So you can say if Joe Bloggs is the one who creates the consignment, then send to desk 1 Zebra printer 5, for example. But it's all completely automated. So here is the consignment now. If I open it up, you'll see it's been allocated a consignment ID. All of the references have come across. It's got pricing. It's got a pricing breakdown with any ATL fees, all of those types of things. If you'd like to see the paperwork, you can also get access to all of the paperwork in here. So if I go to print paperwork items, I'm just going to print the items paperwork. Okay. And you'll see we've generated carrier compliant labels for all of these goods. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump across into back into Acumatica and show you what this looks like, right? So just give me a moment here, and I'm just going to refresh this. And then once this loads, yeah, fun times. I am on a demo sandbox one here, guys, so just give me one moment. This should open up. Back in this way. I saw that there was a question, just while I'm getting this up. Did someone have a question quickly? Otherwise I can wait till the end. Just while I get this going, guys, I'd just like to talk about the other feature. I will show you guys how all this information right backs onto the sales shipment. As you can just see here, our demo MYOB Acumatica is just being a little bit slow at this stage. But essentially what we're doing here is we write back to MYOB Acumatica all of the tracking information, the carrier, the cost, and then we mark that shipment as confirmed. So once those goods have been shipped inside Machship, you don't have to then go back into MYOB Acumatica in order to update that shipment. We're doing all of that for you as part of the fulfillment process, okay? But hopefully in a moment I'll be able to show you that. As you can see here, this is just being a bit slow from my side. In the meantime, just very quickly, I've only got a minute left. Just to cover off the other feature that I mentioned, which is live pricing. So another thing that we're able to offer inside this is live quoting. I'm not going to have enough time to fully demonstrate this to you guys today, but in short, on the sales order or sales quote screen, you can go to the shipping tab, and once you've finalized the order, you check a box saying ready to quote, and you hit save. And then what we can do is add a freight line, as you'll see here, with the freight cost based on all of the other line items that have been added to the order. So you'll see in this example here, we've got a product called Big Wheel. You've added this, you've ticked it, you hit save, and when that's done, it sends a notification to us, and we add in a line called freight with the price on there. Now, when you do this, inside this ship via, you can set up an option which is called cheapest, and we would write back the cheapest price, or you could, in this case, you can see we've selected TGE, and it would have quoted TGE as the price. And we write notes here as to exactly what the prices were that are written back, all right? Just touching base on a couple of common questions we get with regards to these is, Is Machship integrated with the NetSuite WMS? The answer is yes, right? So that screen before where I showed you the pick pack, where you were inputting the dimensions into Machship, if you're using the WMS or you have a full set of product dimensions inside NetSuite, that step is optional, okay? So that the NetSuite WMS can write the packages to the shipment and we can read them at that stage, in which case it's a completely hands-off process. They pick and pack using the WMS and it drops into Machship straight away. And the next most common question would be, can it be modified? The answer is yes. So the way we've built our integration layer is we can write back to different custom fields, write back to different adjust workflows, change trigger statuses, and all of those types of things. So yes, it can be modified within reason. So we still have to conform to the standard entities and processes that exist within the Acumatica platform, but we do have a broad amount of flexibility there. All right. So I think I'm out of time, so we'll leave it there, but hopefully by the end of this shipment screen will have loaded. I apologize for that, guys. Unfortunately, this demo, these sandbox environments, which we're using here, can be a bit funny sometimes, as you can see.
Thanks, James. No problem. So I think everybody can see quite clearly, how the solution works together, notwithstanding any sandbox things. So we'll provide James's details to everybody who's attending today if you do have any queries about Machship. And we work with these guys all the time on different projects. So next up, we have Central Innovation, and really excited with what Amgad has to show you. And this is in terms of what we would call design to order or engineer to order, which with a greater level of sophistication, but still integrated with the MYOB Acumatica solution. So I won't steal too much of your thunder either, Amgad. Over to you.
My name is Amgad. I'm working with Central Innovation. Central Innovation have been in the industry for about 35 years now. We mainly focus on the production and manufacturing environment. Our values are mainly on customer-centric, respective collaboration, performance-driven, integrity, innovation attitude. We are multiple awards year after year. So we work with suppliers like the Dassault Systems and Driveworks, and we provide the best-in-class service to our customers here. Our offering is industrial lead software. We provide consultation, design, simulation, data management, face-to-face training, and virtual and on-demand as well. When there is no solution in the market, we drive our own solution. So we developed Sharp Task and Maxxlink and CI tools to close the gap between design and manufacturing. We have over 100 plus employees across ANZ. We nearly have one office in each state to provide our customers with very high level experience when it comes to service. Right, I'm just gonna roll back a couple of slides here to introduce the team. So with me here, Eddie, junior developer at Central Innovation. He is focused on Maxxlink and Sharp Task development. And myself, I am Amgad. I have been in the business for about 25 years now. My main focus on data management these days, mainly when it comes to converting your data management challenges to strategic competitive advantage. Right, I'm gonna just jump through the agenda very quick. We have a bit of delay in the presentation. To get into the point straight away, why actually we are looking for integration. So we saw momentum presentation will show Machship presentation. And the main point here is always integration. Don't use data several times. Don't enter the data several times, because this will always generate errors and inefficiency in the process. We are in the manufacturer business, so we work with bill of materials and revisions. Design always updates their designs from one release to another, and the bill of materials need to cope with these updates. So the bill of materials that you're going to have in your MYOB needs to be real-time synced with your design updates. Otherwise, we will be out of sync, and this will cause a lot of issues. This means engineering to manufacture handover will be slow, and time to market will be slow. And when your time to market is slow, this means that your competitor will get hands on the market before you, and you will be out of competition. The other thing as well as here is lack of real-time visibility, which causes silos between departments. I always work with both design and manufacturing department and want to make sure that we understand each other. We are all synced with each other. We are not working here in silos. For change control, as we saw in the beginning of the presentation here, engineering change request and engineering change order, how we communicate this between different departments, not in the same department. This is another problem here that we try to remove from the equation, so you get the best out of your investment with the software that you are working with. Higher operational costs from waste time and error correction. This is another problem as well that will reduce your overall benefit from your business. We are gonna show a real-time example here where we are gonna drive change from the design office to manufacturing using different applications. So we have PDM as our data management application, and we have Maxxlink to connect with MYOB Acumatica to provide this link between engineering and production. So if you don't know what is PDM, it is a centralized location where you keep all your data. It has real-time revision and control, approval process, automatic workflow for approvals. It can work with CAD and non-CAD application. It supports multiple sites. It reduces error and improve productivity. And of course, this will accelerate your product development timeline. Maxxlink is our own brand. It is developed by Center Innovation, supported here by Central Innovation across all our offices from Australia and New Zealand. It provides CAD to ERP real-time connectors, automatic BOM, and change data synchronization, eliminate manual data entry between engineering and ERP systems, reduce errors and improve data accuracy, support real-time bidirectional data exchange, speed up release production process, enhance collaboration between engineering and operations, improve traceability and compliance across systems. All right, so let us set up this integration here between PDM and MYOB. We also wanted to show you another type of integration, which is Driveworks to MYOB. I don't believe the time will be suitable this time, but Driveworks is a design automation tool and CPQ system for design to order applications. Right, so without any further ado, we are gonna do the engineering change request process and integration with MYOB, but from the other end, from the design to production, rather than from production to production. So straight away, we are gonna jump to our case study here. We are inside SolidWorks PDM. We have our container here that because we had some engineering modification to this container, we decided to reduce the number of the tank stripes from 3 to 2. So how we can do this? It can be simply done. This design, as you see here, it is approved design. The data card as well says that it's approved. You can see the bill of material of this design here as well. So straight away in the application itself, I can just browse straight away to where this assembly lives. As you can see, we are working in Windows Explorer environment supported by PDM. So if you know how to use Windows Explorer, you know how to use PDM. So straight away, we can create engineering change request here. This is from the design department, and we need to communicate this to our manufacturing. So this is coming from engineering, and we say here, reduce number of stripes, and I will attach the assembly as well. And this should be it. PDM will create actually an engineering change document. I was just gonna create it and skip straight away to the point where I go back here to SolidWorks, gonna change the state of the file to under editing or editing required. So as you can see here, I'm also gonna inform Eddie that I'm working on this design right now. And that's it. I'm gonna go straight away. You can see this is the one that I want to remove. So I'm gonna delete it from my assembly. Yes, and I'm gonna change the distance here between the two stripes to 30 should be okay based on our calculation, and accept this. And I want to inform production now that I did these updates. I'm gonna send the bill of material straight away to Eddie through Maxxlink. Gonna log in, so I can use my email address here and my password. And just a matter of a couple of seconds, it will go and read all the assembly components. And here it gives me two options, whether to create another bill of material or to merge with the existing one. I would say here, merge with the existing one, which is tank 2. And I would say, okay, because I am updating the design. And again, it's gonna take a couple of seconds to push the update. While it is syncing, yes, it's all done. Now we can switch to Eddie. By the way, I am in WA here. Eddie is in our New Zealand, in our Sydney office, and he will log straight away to Maxxlink from his end and see these updates there. Eddie, are you ready, mate?
Yeah, of course, will do. I'm good, thanks.
No worries. I'm gonna stop sharing and all over to you.
Yeah, no problem. So just to reintroduce myself, I'm Eddie and I'm the junior developer at Central Innovation. And a lot of my work involves optimizing Maxxlink and making sure it has the features it needs. So the main interface you're looking at here is the BOM repository, and it will show every BOM that's being created by your organization. So it's highly customizable, and it can also be tailored to your organization's practices. So just to give a run through of Maxxlink again too, it will soon have the ability to move BOMs between the web platform and MYOB. And the servers are hosted on Azure or on site for you as well. So the data is kept onshore and the information is reliable too. And it doesn't matter either whether your peers are available or not. It's easily accessible whenever. And with this system in place, the data is highly secure as well. So with this integration, you'll have the ability to seamlessly move BOMs between Maxxlink's web interface, MYOB, and other platforms you'd like, such as SolidWorks, like Armgard was showing, Inventor, PDM soon, and Excel. So Maxxlink is designed in a way where all the parts as small as nuts and bolts are all accounted for, and unintended changes to the BOM are intended to be more difficult to make because of the way privilege delegation is done and because of how BOM status is communicated as well, such as completed, and you can lock and unlock the BOM as well. But going back to the ERP connector, there's the ERP connector under settings here. And if I want to set this up, I can put our tenant URL here. This is just a sandbox, but when I put the URL here, it will prompt for the tenant details as well. So once you've given your username and password in these, you can simply test the connection and it will validate. And once this has been set up, you can go back to the BOMs menu. And I've already got water tank searched here, but you can press the import button, press MYOB, and it will have every BOM from MYOB available. So yeah, I can go to Armgard's water tank that he's imported, and you can see that there's a hierarchical view. So all the properties have carried over, and you can see quantities, part number as well. And if I want to make adjustments from the web interface, these can easily be done as well. So one of these nuts has a quantity of 24, which is 201219A. So I can change that from 24 to 28. So that did say 28, yep. Now I can press export to, and that will export to MYOB as well. And that is a very quick process. So once that's done, I can search for the water tank assembly inside of MYOB. And right here, you can see each of these parts and the quantity. And there are a few empty fields, but you can also configure your template on Maxxlink to carry over to each of these as well. And there are plenty of other features too, including adding non-CAD items such as labor, powder coating, laser cutting, and packaging. So if this water tank assembly had been pushed already from Maxxlink as well, there would have been a compare screen. So if you're familiar with GitHub, it would have shown color coding, like green for new items and red for items that are now being excluded. So yeah, this is just a brief look at Maxxlink and the MYOB connector. So yeah, that's all from me. Thanks, everyone. And if you have any questions, please send us some emails. Thanks.
Thanks, Eddie, and thanks, Amgad, and also thanks for everybody who has stayed on to cover the presentation from Central Innovation. We have gone a little bit over time, but I think some great content there. And just to wrap up the Central Innovation component and where we see that fits, a lot of our customers, the products that they make, they're actually doing the design in a SolidWorks or a CAD application of some kind, and this sort of plugs that gap. So instead of having to export a cutting list or information from SolidWorks and then manually transpose that into your bill of material in MYOB Acumatica, you're able to manage that much more seamlessly through an API integration, which means you get the benefit of the graphical smarts of SolidWorks from a design perspective. but remove the labor from, the time it might take you to manually create parts and raw materials and components and bill of materials in MYOB Acumatica. And the other part that they just touched on briefly, which is their Driveworks CPQ tool, will provide a link to some information about that, which basically provides a much more graphical product configurator than what the MYOB Acumatica standard version is. And we do have some customers using that integrated with MYOB Acumatica. And one of the advantages is you can expose that to your website or to your end customer so they can actually create their own configurations. So that's a quick summary. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found that very informative. If you do have any questions about implementing any of the modules or features that we've covered today, reach out directly to us. Mitch is our customer success consultant at Momentum, and he can sort of get things started with a conversation around any of that. Some of those solutions do require configuration and training and testing, like a normal, part of a implementation project. So we would talk to you about that. I note the question just now whether Maxxlink or Autodesk Inventor would work. I'm not sure if Amgad or Eddie are still on the call.
We are on the call, so Autodesk Inventor and SolidWorks are all integrated with Maxxlink and with the connector as well from Maxxlink to MYOB.
Okay, great. So that's a yes, Graham. We might have missed Vicky. So look, we'll wrap it up there. Certainly, I just want to thank everybody for attending. Thank you to Machship and Central Innovation for participating today. We will send out a recording of the session to everybody. And thank you to Pankaj for your excellent demos, and for Mitch and Morgan for managing all the event. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.